Hey everybody, welcome back to Gideon Stuff. Today we're taking a look at the Viper, or the Off-Grid Knives Viper V2. And this is a big old knife. Look, I can't even get it all the way on screen here. Real quick, kind of trying a different little background right now. You guys all know that for a couple of months I've been using like knife publication magazines in the background. But I kind of thought maybe I'll switch it out for these two books. I think it's a little more scenic. Maybe having multiple knives on screen. I don't know if that's weird or not, but these are also two of my just favorite books ever. And yeah, these books are about the geology of New Mexico, parks, monuments, public lands. I love these books. I use these books to plan a lot of my different adventures. But I kind of thought they kind of fit the theme of the channel. So let me know what you guys think about those. But this is not a video about these books. This is a video about a really, really big, cool tactical knife. Let's go ahead and start off with a blade length measurement. Sharpened edge, we're coming in over 3.5 inches. I'd say that's 3 3/4 inches of sharpened edge. And overall blade length is, depending on where you measure, let's go to this point up here, about 3 3/4 inches. It's a big knife. It's a big knife, both in terms of length and just girth. Let's go ahead and bring out our size comparisons. Illustrate this a little further. Where the heck did I put the size comparison knives? Oh, there they are. There's the Rat Model 2. And here's the Rat Model 1. So yeah, we're very similar in size to Rat Model 1. The Rat 1 is a knife that's on the larger side for sure. In terms of length, we're kind of similar. In terms of thickness, similar, but the Off-Grid feels a little bit bulkier. I think it's because it's a little bit wider in this dimension. Let's go ahead and bring out our Civivis. Here is the Praxis, and here's the Elementum. Cool. Yeah, the Praxis, that's a big knife. It's no slouch. And the Off-Grid is right there with it. Let's go ahead and bring out our USA made comparisons. Here's the Spyderco PM2. The Benchmade Bug Out. And to give you guys, maybe a little better idea of just how big this knife is, let's bring out some other big pocket knives. Cold Steel 8015. Probably my favorite knife of all time. Haven't been bringing it out on the channel as much as I need to. Haven't been carrying it as much as I normally do. And here is the CJRB Frac. So yeah, in terms of length, very similar to the 8015. The Frac is definitely longer. And actually, let's see if I can scoot these guys more this way. There we go. Yeah, the Frac is definitely longer. The Viper, though, is bit chunkier, and the 8015, they're actually very similar, both in length and kind of in hand feel too, thickness. 8015, they're pretty similar in terms of weight as well, which is kind of surprising. But yeah, this is definitely a larger knife, not a joke at all. What are we looking at for our materials? 154 cm on this really interesting Tonto blade. Don't think I've seen very many other Tontos that are exactly like this. And then we have G10 scales over steel liners, and we have a steel pocket clip, and it is a liner lock. And we are running on bearings. Let's go ahead and go cut some stuff. Are you looking for a big old folding knife that can take some abuse but still has a great action? I've got the answer for you right here. Off-Grid Knives Viper V2. Pretty dang cool, huh? All right, so let's go ahead and get started on this knife. What am I thinking? Well, actually, this is not the point of the video where I tell you guys what I'm thinking. This is the point of the video where I talk about action, ergonomics, and things like that. So let's talk about the action. Very good action. Very snappy deployment. Flipper only. But the flipper has great jimping. It stands out. For such a huge blade, yeah, the action's great. Action is great. I like it a whole lot. This is one of those knives that's easy to use with or without gloves, and I think that's kind of what they're going for there. They're kind of going for that tactical, hard use vibe. This knife has definitely got it. Let's talk about the ergonomics. Pretty neutral handle. This is a big knife. It's going to fit a bunch of different hands. Very comfortable. I don't really feel the clip. If you've got bigger hands than me and you're back here, you might feel the clip. The jimping on top of the blade is really, really interesting. I like it. It's nice and grippy, even with gloves. And yeah, I feel like it locks the knife in. You can get, honestly, I feel like I can get up right behind that edge and I can get some work done. So very, very good ergonomics. How does it carry? Well, we do have a reversible clip, so lefties are included. Thank you, Off Grid. And it is a deep carry clip. There it is. It's a big knife. It's heavy. You know, if that's not your thing, you know, you're probably not going to enjoy this all that much. But the clip itself works well. On these pants, it's a little bit more grippy than it is on my jeans. But yeah, that clip does land on this diamond texturing on the G10. So it is going to be a little bit grabby. Like I said, on my jeans, I didn't notice it that bad. But on these pants, it did grip a little bit more than I was expecting. The tension on the clip is actually really, really good. I'm a big fan of the clip. But, sorry, that pencil is going in my pocket. It felt weird for a second. I thought I stabbed myself in the leg with a knife, but no, it was just a pencil. All right, let's go ahead and do some cutting. Let's grab us a big old piece of cardboard here. Very aggressive Tonto blade, 154 cm. We do have compound, well, we've got 2 flat grinds, but they are separate grinds. So let's go ahead and get started. Do some utility cuts. Start off with a Tonto tip. Pretty nice. Let's go with the regular tip, because the regular tip is actually low enough to comfortably use for utility cuts. In fact, it might even be better than that secondary tip. So, great cutter. Yeah, slices fairly well. This is a knife that's on the more robust side, and it is kind of more of a cutter than a slicer, but I think that's exactly what they're going for, and I think it performs really, really well. Effortless through the rope. Oh, man. Oh, yeah. Oh. That absolutely demolished the rope. That might be the best rope push cutter that we've had on the channel in a very, very long time, maybe even ever. That was amazing. And it's because this secondary edge here doesn't cant up quite as much as a lot of other Tontos. It's still kind of low. So you get all kinds of power into that push. And of course the flat grind brings a lot of stability out there to that edge. Really, really nice. All right, time for the real test. The pool noodle. See what we got going on here. Oh, wow. Okay, they're running away from me. Let me pick them up. Guys, that felt incredible. So first cut, I went a little bit thick just because. No problems there. Try going thinner with the second cut. No problems there. No hang-ups or anything. Third cut, we went really, really dang thin. That is impressive. That is a very impressive pool noodle result for a knife that is, you know, on the robust side like this is. I am very pleased with that. Absolutely. So let's go ahead, get back to the table where I will continue to sing this thing's praises, I expect. Alrighty, we're back. Let's go ahead and talk about what I'm liking and not liking about this knife. First of all, man, this is a cool looking knife. It's striking. Off Grid, they're definitely a brand that is very tactical and hard-working attitude, and this knife reflects a whole lot of that. I already mentioned in the opening that this Tanto blade is really unique. I've never seen anything quite like it. In fact, it's kind of hard to describe. It's almost like a spear point that's been made into a Tanto. Kind of reminds me a little bit of the blade on the Cold Steel Immortal. If you guys remember that knife, I think that one's been discontinued a long time ago. In fact, this whole knife kind of reminds me of the Cold Steel Immortal in some ways. But yeah, there's a very unique looking blade. All kinds of really aggressive features that we will be talking about as we move forward. I also like the brown on gray. Looks very cool. They've also got blacked out versions, which are really, really interesting. I like the way this huge filler plate looks. I like the way the clip works. I like their logo. It's very cool. Just a very interesting looking knife in general. Next up, the action. Flipper only. Most off-grid knives are flipper only, but the action is really, really good. It's a very interesting action because it's a little bit different than some other knives that I've held. The leverage that you get on flipper tab is excellent. You can see it's right in line with the pivot. The jimping on that flipper tab is also just perfect. So it grabs you, you get plenty of leverage, and it really whacks that blade out. Great detail on this thing. On the close, even though it has a big blade, it's not directly just fall shutty, and I actually like that. It's a little bit controlled. It's a very good action. It kind of feels tight when you're closing it, but again, I kind of like that. It feels very on brand for a knife that's kind of this overbuilt. So I like the action quite a bit. Access to the lock bar is good. It kind of looks like it wouldn't be, but they do give you access. Focus up your camera. And then they kind of chamfer it in. You can see right there. So yeah, you can get to the lock bar very, very easily. This knife is great for lefties because the clip is reversible. I like that they included a filler tab. I think that's, people say, oh, maybe this company didn't want to make this knife, with a reversible clip because they didn't want to, mess up the aesthetics on the show side scale. I think filler tabs look great, and I think they're a fantastic way to make a reversible clip look good. I don't even think that's a great argument to begin with, but, there you go. And the clip itself works really, really well. It is deep carry, very deep carry clip. It does, it's a little bit grabby on here, but honestly, the clip itself, I do like the clip. Ergonomics on this knife, really, really nice. The texturing on the G10 locks you in. The ergos are pretty neutral, but you do have kind of a good finger guard here. You get up really close to that edge. The jimping here on the spine, it looks wild, and it is, but man, it's super functional, locks you in really, really well. The scales are not necessarily contoured, but they are chamfered in such a way that it kind of gives the illusion of contoured scales. But yeah, very hand-filling. This is a knife that's comfortable with or without gloves. I like it a whole lot. Next up, the hardware is T8 all the way around except for the pocket clip screws. Those are T6s, but I like that a whole lot. Minimal hardware, T8s all the way around. That's kind of what you want to see on a heavy-duty knife. I like to see that big hardware. Next up, let's go ahead and talk about the blade. The blade is really, really cool. This is a robust knife. I mean, look how thick that blade stock is, right? But it does cut. You come down to a decently thin edge there. The way the tip is angled, how it's kind of in line with, in fact, it might even be a little bit lower than the pivot. You can get to the tip really, really easily. You've got this straight edge here and this straight edge here. I think Tantos are really great for EDC tasks because for most of our EDC tasks, opening packages, poking holes in things, making small cuts, you can just use this edge here, and that'll take most of your abuse. And then if you do have a task where you might have to making bigger, more powerful cuts, you can have this edge ready for that. But yeah, really, really nice. Crunching down the rope, as you guys saw, that's a great platform right there. If you're crunching down on zip ties, rope, things like that, that is great. I do like that the jimping goes all the way down there because you can get your finger out. So many companies don't put enough jimping on their spines. Off-Grid is doing it right. Thank you. Flat grinds on both of these sections of the blade. Again, not the thinnest thing behind the edge, but it's going to cut. It's going to be robust. And I don't think they were going for sliciness necessarily. All right. So there's what I like about the knife. Ergonomics are great. I think the blade is awesome. Overall, I'd say this is a great work knife. Let's go ahead and get on to a few negatives. One thing, I do wish the stop pin was bigger. This kind of seems like a small, focus up camera. It kind of seems like a small stop pin for this knife. I mean, it's not a small stop pin, but I don't know. It just seems like I kind of would have made it bigger. Maybe made it a collared stop pin too, make the blade go around it like that. The price is up there. These are over $100, but I don't think the price... These are the same kind of materials that like Kizer is using. I think off-grid knives are built by Bestech, and off-grid is a smaller company than Kizer is, so I understand that, you know, they need to charge a little bit more to make ends meet. The price is up there for materials, but I think the knife itself is pretty good, actually. So we're not going to harp on that too much. Next thing, I would have honestly loved to see this knife maybe with thicker liners. Again, the liners seem a little bit thin. I wasn't having any issues with lock failure or, you know, strength. This knife does feel super robust, so I don't want you guys to think that that's what I'm saying. But I think it'd be cool to see this knife maybe as a frame lock, or maybe with I don't know, some kind of strong locking mechanism, maybe even a secondary lock would be cool. But it is definitely an overbuilt knife, and it does have those tactical hard use vibes. Any other negatives? I don't really think so. Let's go ahead and go to my final conclusions. Final conclusions, I really, really enjoy this knife. Now, to be completely honest, this isn't really my style of knife. If I'm going to be carrying a knife this big, I want to have like maybe stronger locks, you know, cold steel. As robust as this is, it's not going as far as the 8015 is. I mean, the 8015 is going all the way and then some in terms of robustness. Not necessarily my style of knife, but it's a very, very cool knife, and it's a well-built knife, and I can see why off-grid is so popular. They deserve to be more popular, though. They really do. I'm definitely going to be getting more off-grid knives to take a look at. I'm really impressed with the build quality. I really like a lot of what I've seen from them. I kind of like their attitude. I like what their brand is about. And this is a knife that I think is definitely, it's a knife that will get the respect of both knife enthusiasts and mall ninjas. Right? And I think that's actually great. Very aggressive, very robust knife. This is a working knife. And I do think the performance is okay for a working knife like this. This is a knife that you can push through some harder tasks. This is a knife that maybe you might want to put into some tactical situations. I think it'll hold up to all that stuff really well. I'm impressed with it. I like it a lot. Can I recommend it? Yes. Yes, I can. And hopefully you guys will be seeing more off-grid knives on the channel in the future. Quick shout out to all my channel members. They're on the screen, and especially a shout out to Old Tonto Guy. He sent this knife into the channel for me to review. Without him, I probably never would have taken a look at this knife, so I really, really appreciate that. He's awesome. All my channel members are awesome. If you want to become a channel member, there's a button down below. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment below, and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Adios.